Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Proven Learning Series, Mastering Proven Dry Logs. My name is Christy Ragone. I am the VP of Operations and the Product Specialist for the Proven Jobs software. Today, we are going to be discussing utilizing the Proven Dry Logs on our mobile application and how this information syncs to our web platform and can be utilized for reporting purposes. Before we get started, I just want to touch base on a few housekeeping items. Again, because this is a pre-recorded session, all attendees have been muted during today's session to cut down on background noise. We also have automatically turned your cameras off to avoid any distractions. Being that today's session is a pre-recorded session, any questions can be submitted to our support team at support@canamsys.com. We will cover 4 areas today in our Proven Dry Logs session. First, we will review the company settings required to get Proven Dry Logs ready for use. Second, we will create a dry log from the Proven Jobs mobile application. Third, we will review and validate this information in our Proven Jobs web system. And then finally, we will look at the PDF report and how that information is organized for a clear and professional record. Let's get started with Proven Dry Logs and start with company setup. Dry log configuration is located within Settings, Company Settings, under the Jobs area of the Proven Dry Logs tab. Here you can modify temperature scale, which you would need to also confirm that the mobile application does have the same temperature scale edited within the temperature scale section on the mobile app. The next option that you will need to confirm is the editing of drying material types. Drying material types come standard with the Proven Jobs Dry Logs feature, where common material types such as brick, plaster, concrete, plasterboard, hardwood, laminate flooring, etc. are already enabled within the Dry Logs feature in company settings. Your company should review this list and make sure materials commonly encountered by your team are available and named consistently with common dry standards in place. When a technician creates a moisture point later in the process, selecting the correct material type helps give context to the reading and makes the resulting report easier to understand. Next is substrate type. The substrate is the underlying surface affected by the moisture, the material the water is sitting on or in. Again, within the Edit Substrate Types within our Company Settings section within the Proven Dry Logs tab, again, these do come standard within our Company Settings section. You do have the ability to create and edit and add your own within Company Settings. They will also sync down to that mobile application. This is another area where standardized company choices improve consistency. Instead of allowing every technician to describe the same material differently, the system provides a common set of selections that can be used across your organization. Insulation requires special attention because different insulation products respond very differently to water and contamination. Some materials may be candidates for drying under the right conditions, while others may require removal. Again, within that same settings section, within that Proven Dry Logs tab, edit insulation types. Again, we have automatically enabled some of those within your database. You can create, edit, or delete those that are reflective of your database or area. The configuration list can include batt or roll, loose fill, reflective insulation, cellulose, foam board, spray foam, mineral wool, or none, and capturing these types helps document what was present. And last but not least is our meter types. Meter types identify the moisture measuring device used to document conditions and guide drying decisions. Examples include Protimeter, Tramex, Testo, FLIR, Delmhorst, etc., and other devices that your company could use. Adding and editing equipment. Equipment setup determines how equipment will be transferred and tracked on the job. Proven Jobs supports both generic and individually tracked equipment with serial numbers. Generic equipment is useful when the business wants to manage equipment by quantity. For example, I have a large loss and I may want to transfer 10 air movers at once instead of selecting 10 separate serialized records to my job site. The trade-off is that generic equipment does not track the individualized equipment location in the same way as serialized or barcoded equipment, and certain tracking options are removed. Individually tracked equipment provides a more detailed equipment history and is appropriate when the company wants that item level accountability. For example, I need to know where that air mover was at Miss Jones' house, and I need to see that accountability on each piece of equipment. Built-in equipment types are now available in each database. These built-in equipment types provide a standardized starting point that are identified in blue within each database that geared towards our S500 calculations within each database. Within the equipment type section, administrators can also maintain equipment manufacturers and model information used by their organization. Also set up in each database are the associated equipment manufacturers for each dehumidifier that also provides AHAM and CFM dedicated to those specific dehumidifiers in each database. The blue drop-down menu options that you will see in each equipment setup screen counts towards S500 totals within the Dry Logs feature. Within the equipment model section, users will notice built-in equipment models that I mentioned previously, and if you had to add a new equipment model inside the database, simply select the equipment model, select Create, select the drop-down menu type on the equipment type, for example, a desiccant dehumidifier, your associated equipment manufacturer, and your equipment model, and enter in your own AHAM inside the program in order for it to start calculating towards those S500 calculations. Once company settings, materials, meters, and equipments are configured, the Dry Logs feature needs to be applied within the associated job type. In company settings, select the Edit Job Types hyperlink, then select your associated job type by selecting Edit, then apply the Dry Logs feature. Once the applied Dry Logs feature is enabled, it will appear within the mobile application as a Dry Logs icon and within the web system as a Dry Logs tab. Now let's take a look at utilizing Proven Dry Logs in our mobile application. From the mobile application, we're going to begin at the main menu screen. Once we're at the main menu screen, we're going to go into Jobs My Schedule, search for our open job by utilizing the filter option, navigating to that water mitigation job, and selecting that Dry Logs menu option to open up to create a chamber. Once we're in that Dry Logs menu option, we're going to select plus Add Chamber to create a new chamber. Here we're going to enter in the chamber details, select our category, class, substrate, insulation, etc. Now again, remember this information came from our web system company settings menu options that we put in to company settings to be able to select those in the drop-down menu, so our technician had this information on the fly in the mobile application. Once we've entered all the information in the chamber details, we're going to select Save to move on to the next section of our room dimensions. The system will automatically navigate you to where you need to go. Room dimensions help quantify the affected space. Enter the room measurements carefully and answer the related questions so the system can evaluate whether the room information is complete. Here you have two options in our mobile application for entering in room dimensions. First, you can either enter in room dimensions from manually, entering in room dimensions and adding the offsets and insets, or entering it from the sketch pad. You also have two ways of entering in room names, either search existing or creating a new room off the cuff. When the water level is less than 2 feet, enter in the affected perimeter. When the water level is greater than 2 feet, document the affected floors, ceilings, and walls, including the percentage affected. These details help record and reflect the true extent of the loss and help gauge the S500 needed equipment. When adding the information for floors and ceilings affected, our system gives you two ways of entering that information. You can either enter that information by utilizing a toggle option as a slider of sliding that to a percentage affected, or entering in the actual square footage on the mobile application. If you wish to choose not to entering in the dimensions manually, you can hop over to our sketch pad by selecting the Add Sketch icon. This will carry you over to our sketch pad, which provides a visual representation of the room and affected area. By adding the room icon, it will pop open an option to enter in the room dimensions, thus creating a room within the sketch pad. Doors and windows can also be added to the sketch to better reflect the actual space. Additionally, rooms, notes, moisture points, and equipment can also be added to the sketch pad in order to better represent the area. When equipment is selected, it will pull up a menu option to allow you to filter out air movers, dehumidifiers, air scrubbers, etc., and allow you to add that equipment onto the sketch pad. Within the sketch pad, you do have the ability to draw the affected area and place equipment within the room area dimensions. Next, you can add moisture points for the affected materials. A moisture point can identify where the reading was taken place and provide detail for the same location to be measured consistently for future visits. Once I added the moisture point, if I just select the moisture point, it will pop open to allow me to add moisture point details, material types, etc. from the drop-down menu. Once that material type has been chosen, it will automatically populate that drying standard. We also have a Tramex integration that allows for Bluetooth capability that will allow that information to automatically pull in to our mobile application based off of the Bluetooth capability inside of our system. You will also notice in the left top corner that the MP is at 32, indicating that I've not met my drying standard. When my chosen material type is selected based off of what has been placed in company settings, it will automatically pull in the drying standard that has been placed inside the system based off of the material that is selected. The user does have the ability to override the drying standard based off of a dry standard inside the home, and the system will continuously calculate that as they are drying down the material. The user also has the ability to snap a photo of the drying area. The user does have the ability to snap a photo of the moisture point that they are drying down by utilizing the camera function or the files function. And again, we do have in the drop-down menu option here the ability to add or select the meter type and to add a description to continuously memorize the area in which the moisture point was taken. Consistency is especially important when readings are compared across multiple days. Within the Sketchpad, users have the ability to add notes to explain unusual conditions, access limitations, material changes, or equipment adjustments. Note templates can also standardize common documentation and reduce repetitive typing. So you can avoid those generic notes by utilizing that log note template. Proven Dry Logs also supports multiple readings per day, which is useful when conditions are checked more than once or when equipment adjustments require a follow-up reading. Readings can also be pulled from supported Bluetooth devices, such as that Tramex Moisture Reader, in order to import those into the temperature RH calculations on the inside and outside psychometric readings. Equipment output readings document whether the equipment is operating and producing the expected results, and we can review those within the chamber details, etc. There are multiple ways to assign equipment to a job, either from equipment transfer, manually applying it from a pick list, or from equipment scanning. In this demonstration, we're going to scan it from the DryLogs screen by utilizing our camera functionality. Once that equipment is scanned to the job site location, you will notice it residing in the upper section of our screen, indicating how much equipment is on site and how long that equipment has been at the job site. When equipment is associated to the job, it will display indicated by a green check mark that I have in fact achieved and entered all my readings. Yellow, I am simply missing readings on that dehumidifier. At any given point, I can select the S500 bar and review the recommendations for the current chamber I am on. I can identify shortage, or I can identify overage within those S500 calculations. The calendar uses color indicators to provide an at-a-glance status for each day. Green means all expected readings are complete. Orange means some readings are missing, and red means no readings were taken for that particular day. This is especially helpful for multi-day projects because a user can quickly identify which date requires attention instead of opening every day individually. Before syncing or finalizing the record, review any orange or red dates and correct the documentation if at all possible. The new compliance indicators evaluate several core parts of the DryLog. For room dimensions, the system looks for length, width, height, along with the completion of the required questions and linear footage information. For moisture points, the system is checking that points are entered for the associated rooms on each day that equipment is on site. Psychometric readings are also expected for each day equipment remains on site. The equipment output should be documented for those same days. A check mark shows the requirement has been satisfied, and an exclamation identifies that the item has not been met. And finally, after the field information has been reviewed and synced to the DryLog web, confirmation on the mobile device has a stable connection allow the sync to complete before leaving the workflow. If you navigate to the lower right section on your mobile app screen and select Sync History, you will see DryLogs that have been syncing up to the web platform within the DryLogs section. Now that our field data has been synced up to our Proven Jobs web system, let's take a look at how this information resides in Proven Jobs web. The web review is where our project manager or our office admin team can validate completeness, trends, or correct data details where permitted, and prepare the records for reporting. Navigate to your chamber details. You will notice within the chamber details section, air movers, dehumidifiers, and moisture level has applicable hyperlinks to allow you to quickly select to open to navigate to those associated items. To open up the chamber details, simply select Edit to open. Once within the chamber details menu option, you can see the S500 recommendations are available. Yellow indicates that there may not be enough equipment, while blue indicates that equipment may be overplaced. You can use these visual indicators to guide you through the review. By selecting the Room Dimensions tab, you can see all available rooms that have been added to the chamber, or even add your own rooms by selecting the plus add icon to display additional room dimensions. Here you can enter in your own rooms, length, width, height, etc., and affected perimeters. Once rooms have been entered into the web system, a green check mark indicates all information has been entered correctly. A red exclamation points indicates that items are missing and the user will be alerted. The moisture point area allows users to add or edit moisture points, attach photos, adjust drying standards, or confirm the moisture meter type, just as the mobile application, and reuse remembered descriptions. You can also review each point for a clear location, correct material, appropriate drying standards, and a logical sequence of readings. Photos can also be added to strengthen that documentation when they show the location, material condition, or a reason for decision. Again, as mentioned previously, you can select that moisture point hyperlink to be taken to that specific area. Navigate by selecting the date or select the photo to open it up for a better view. And again, you can add that moisture level by selecting it, the plus add, to add additional moisture levels in the program. The same with our psychrometrics. By selecting on the psychrometrics tab within the web system, if I want to add additional psychrometrics, I can simply select the plus add icon to add those additional details to the web system, or select the date to open up the details to review the psychrometrics that have already been entered. If I want to view equipment that is already placed on the job file, I can navigate to those hyperlinks or navigate to the equipment tab to see what equipment has been placed on the job. An air mover is indicated by a simple check mark. A dehumidifier has the readings that have been placed on the job. If I want to open up and review the moisture readings or edit or modify, I can simply click on the date on the job to open and edit. If I want to add additional equipment, I'm going to simply select the Add Equipment selection box to open up the equipment entry screen. Once I've placed equipment on the job site, it will enter in onto our Equipment tab. You can see here, and an Equipment on Site indicator is placed on the job file. Additionally, the Equipment on Site date is notated on the Dates tab on our Proven Jobs job file. When equipment is removed from the web system, you can also return it from job by selecting the Return from Job checkbox on the piece of equipment on the Proven Jobs web system. And in doing so, the equipment on site is removed, and a removed indicator is noted on the on-site column within the Equipment tab. Additionally, when the last piece of equipment is removed from the Proven Jobs job file, the equipment remove date is placed on the job file. To wrap up our Proven Dry Logs session, we're going to take a look at our reporting in Proven Dry Logs. This final section will take a look at our PDF reports that are available for you once all this information is syncing up to our Proven Jobs web system. If I navigate into our chamber creation window and I select the print option, I have two options available for reporting. You will see those options available in the drop down menu here, Dry Log Report and Dry Log Style 2 Report. Our main dry log report, you will notice, has operational information, property information, and general information on the main cover page. And then, of course, has inside and outside conditions in a graph format for the technical project summary. And then, of course, is listing out your moisture points, etc., along with your main moisture points in each chamber. And provides a chamber summary for each chamber along with S500 recommendations, along with each of those psychometrics. Our secondary dry logs report V2 also provides that same information in a condensed format, along with loss description notes, etc. Property information, insurance information, and general information dedicated to that loss, along with operational loss dates, job started dates, etc. And again, those chamber details are listed out, along with that psychometric moisture point data, etc. All of our reports are available in a PDF or Excel format. Thank you for attending today's Lunch and Learn. If you have any questions whatsoever, please contact us at 1-866-992-2626 or simply email us at support@canmsys.com.